All right, guys. So this episode is one I've been so excited about. It's with a brother called Isa, and you can follow him on Instagram if you go to Isa_unscripted. And I came across his social media content by chance on my explore page, and it was just incredible. This brother Isa is basically creating some amazing content. He lives in Pakistan, born in the UK, moved to Pakistan at a very early age. His parents moved him, and now he creates this incredible content showcasing Pakistan, breaking myths about Pakistan, and showing how you can move to Pakistan, being someone born and raised in the UK or in the West. You can go back to your motherland and live an incredible life. And he's funny, his content is engaging, he's breaking myths about Pakistan. It's made me want to go back to Pakistan like ASAP and be hosted by him. So definitely check out his content. But we spoke about some incredible stuff on this podcast about his journey and about why he's so passionate about Pakistanis living in the West to come back to spend more time and if not move back to Pakistan. So incredible episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get into it with Isa Hussain. So what had happened is a few weeks ago, you pop up on my Instagram explore page, and your enthusiasm, your showmanship, your message, I just like fell in love instantly with the whole brand. And I was like having dinner with my family, so like guilty I was on my phone. And I said to them at the time, I said, this guy is incredible on Instagram. His name's Isa. He's basically showing, breaking myths about Pakistan. And like he's promoting Hijra to Pakistan for Pakistanis in the UK. And the content's funny. It's great. It's showcasing Pakistan in such a beautiful way. It's breaking loads of myths. And it's really good stuff. I was like, give him a follow. And then it's funny because my brother-in-law was just downstairs. He was meant to, he cuts hair, he's a barber. So I was meant to get a haircut, but my last meeting ran over. So I came downstairs, I was like, I can't get a haircut. I've got a podcast now. He was like, who's it with? I was like, yo, it's that guy. And he was laughing because like, it's so typical of me to like, be inspired by someone and then like get them on the podcast. Like,
just a podcast with a nobody from Rawalpindi.
No, nobody, man. I absolutely love his stuff. So let's get into it a little bit. So first of all, I can see your earliest post on Instagram is January the 20th this year. So last month. Is that when you started creating content, or have you just like...
Yeah, I'm less than 40 days in. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea what's going on. So it's been fun. So you said showmanship. I am not good on camera at all. You're proper panic. No. So I've actually been making videos for a couple of months, but I never had it in me to post them. But then we just thought, you know what? Let's just go for it. So yeah, we posted on the 19th of Jan, I believe. So, and the first video just took off, and it was crazy. It was good.
Well, I think there's a lot of ingredients here that make it successful if you break it down from a content perspective. So first of all, the quality is good, like of the camera, which is tick there. Second of all, you got some humor there, just even from a visual perspective, like you're using a dunda as a mic. and then third of all, like, bro, the Jamshed from Bradford narrative is the kind of narrative that marketing experts in C-suite of corporate companies would be racking their brains for months and still wouldn't come up with, because it hits so many different things from a marketing perspective. Like it's so funny. It's instantly recognizable who your message is to, the type of like demographic. And I don't know if you like planned all of that or if it's just like Allah just blessed you with all these ingredients coming together at random, but it's just incredible, guys. I want to commend you on that. All right, guys, just a quick break in the pod to let you guys know about our partner for this episode, the International Open University. Now, there's some free stuff coming, so you're going to want to listen. IOU is basically an online university which gives you accredited degrees where you can basically study online at your own pace. You can get a degree in things like finance, in psychology, in business, in Arabic, in education, all from the comfort of your own home. Now, I spoke to the team. I said, hey, give some material for free, and I have you guys' back. They did so. So you guys can access for completely free the Book of Tawheed by Dr. Bilal Phillips. Just head over to the link in the description, or you can head to ilm1, that's India Lima Mike 1.internationalopenuniversity.com, and you get free access to this book. But also, if you're interested in actually studying a degree at IOU, you can get 10% off the semester fees for the March semester if you enroll now.
I remember I was thinking, you know what? I want to make a video, and obviously I want to address the UK, my UK viewers. That's what I want. I don't want local Pakistani viewers because they can't relate to what I'm saying. And I was thinking, you know, and you need a good hook. That first second in a video, as you know, is everything. So I remember I was actually praying. I was praying Asr. I still remember it. And this name just came to my mind, just Jamshed from Bradford. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna just waste this guy. I just went after Jamshed from Bradford, and I remember we posted it, and I went to sleep, and my phone kept going off. I couldn't sleep. I was like, what's going on here? And I kept checking my phone, and obviously because I'm new to this, I'm not used to just getting so many notifications. So I just kept reading, and I couldn't sleep. And then I thought, you know what, this is not good. So I then just turned my notifications off, turned them off, and I went to sleep. I think my video was at a couple of thousand views then. It was my first video. So I went to sleep and I woke up and I just had so many messages, people just asking me, who's Jamshed? Even my dad's friends, they were Googling Jamshed from Bradford. Who's this? Checking on Twitter, you know, searching Jamshed from Bradford. And they were asking me, you know, is he real? I said, Jamshed from Bradford's not real. They're like, no, you're lying. Because you were so passionate. You were so passionate about Jamshed from Bradford. I said, I've met a lot of Jamsheds.
In many ways, he is real. There's hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
You know, in some way.
Jamshed from Bradford is a philosophy. He's a philosophy. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
In some ways, we are all Jamshed from Bradford in some capacity, right?
We all have, and especially me, because I was basically raised in Pakistan.
Sure.
I encountered a lot of arrogant Jamsheds. It was just a lot of fun, you know, because we moved when I was 4 years old. We moved to Pakistan, so I used to meet a lot of Brits, and because I was raised in Pakistan, they used to kind of look down on me. You know, they'd think that they're better than you because they live in Bradford. That's just not the case. I mean, Bradford's not very nice. So I don't know. There's a lot going on in my brain, and I just threw it out there. So it was one of those.
But touching on that, so when I first saw your profile, I was inspired because I was like, okay, I kind of started building the narrative in my head. I was like, so there's this guy who is in Pakistan now, Pakistani guy, and you know, northern accent. So the narrative I had built in my head was that you've, like all of us, been born and raised in the UK, and then at some point, like a lot of us, you've gone, look, I'm going to make Hijra because of the various reasons why one would make Hijra. And you decided, actually, let me go back home to Pakistan, which again is admirable. And now that you've done it, you want to create content showing people that this is a great option for Hijra, especially for Pakistanis, where it's kind of like the one place you can go and actually have home, from a nationality perspective and things like this. And you've done it successfully, and you're trying to show people that you can live a Western, like the ideas that we have as Westerners is like, oh, I want to go to like bougie coffee shops or malls and things like that. And you're basically showing that you can do that in Pakistan. There's so many beautiful and much better and much more, right?
Yeah.
Then when I watched a few more pieces of your content, I think maybe it was your Q&A or something.
Yeah.
It shocked me, bro, because you said that you had a stint of your childhood in the UK, but actually you're born and raised in Pakistan and predominantly have been, which made me question the northern accent. It made me question how you have such a great grasp of the UK culture from we call it the Jamshed culture. From people like myself, born and raised in the UK, thinking, oh, like I can't realistically go back to Pakistan and live there for XYZ reason. So it amazed me that you had that level of understanding. So I kind of want to backtrack all of it and go back to where is Doi? So like, at what point did you spend time in the UK? When did you start to understand? You touched on it a bit now with like people coming over from the UK and turning your nose up at you. I want to kind of go into your whole story up until now so I can understand that a little bit.
Right. So my name is Isa and this is my story.
Exactly, yeah.
So my dad was basically born and raised in the UK. So, and it was similar for my mom. And I think when my dad, 20 years ago, my dad decided that I can't raise my kids in England because he saw then where the UK was headed. So he just decided we're moving back to Pakistan, and he just sold everything he had, and he just moved to Pakistan. So this was 2004. And I was 4 years old. So the language, everybody keeps asking me about the language, Tika, and I think, sorry, just to pause, I think I'm a bit behind. Is that okay? Camera-wise?
It's fine. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's fine.
Anyways, yeah, so I was 4 years old, and the language, I kept getting messages saying that, you're a fraud and you basically don't live in Pakistan, or you weren't raised in Pakistan because your English is good. Well, they were saying it was really good, but I'm being a bit humble. But it was my dad's a bit of a coconut, so I picked up the language from my dad, and I was banned. We were banned from going back to England. That was my dad's number one rule. You could go anywhere in the world. It just has to be a Muslim country. You guys are not allowed to go to a non-Muslim country. So we went once in 2010 for a holiday to see the family, because 99% of my family are in the UK. And then after that, we didn't go again for 14 years. So I was a kid when we went in 2010. However, we spent a lot of time in Dubai. So I'm very used to Dubai and how advanced Dubai is, and the airports and the facilities and, the safety. And then I remember in 2024, we went to Manchester. Finally, the ban was lifted upon me. It was like, all right, you can go with your mom. I mean, I didn't really care, to be honest, but I was like, okay. We went Manchester. I was in Manchester airport, and I was like, wait, am I back in Rawalpindi? Because it's not a very nice airport. And again, you just start to compare. I'm comparing everything with Dubai. And anyways, we go through Manchester airport. We're driving around, and it's graffiti everywhere. The weather's not very nice. And I'm just observing, because I've not been to England in 14 years. Technically 20 years, because I was a kid when I went. And I'm just watching, and then I'm speaking to people, and I see everybody, it's just jobs, pick up the kids from school, and tuition, then swimming, then cricket, and then go back to sleep and repeat. Because I was a guest, I was just seeing how they live life. And then you'd speak to some of the people there, and I noticed that they live in a bubble, like a proper bubble. They've never been anywhere in the world. They've not, experienced any different cultures. They don't speak, different languages. And I see this arrogance in them, that because they live in the UK, they know what life is about, and they know luxury, and do you know what I mean? So, but then I was trying to explain to them, listen, it's a big world. You don't have to live here. You could move to, it doesn't have to be Pakistan. You could move to a very nice Muslim country and live very happily. It doesn't have to be here. So in 2019 then, what happened was, because my dad used to promote Pakistan a lot to his relatives and to his friends, but they used to come to Pakistan, and they used to have a hard time in Pakistan because they didn't know anybody. So my dad told me, listen, this guy's coming. I want you to just show him around. Basically babysit. Make sure he doesn't get ripped off. Make sure he doesn't get food poisoning. Just look after him. Make sure he has a good experience. When he goes back, he has a positive image of Pakistan, and he tells his friends and family, and maybe they'd come to Pakistan. I was like, okay.
By the way, even just to pause there,
yeah,
the foresight that your dad had 20 years ago, and then the independence and drive to decide, and the leadership to decide to say, hey, I'm going to pick up my family, I'm going to go back to Pakistan. Both those things incredible. And thirdly, not only that, you think of the ayah in the Quran, Allah says, save yourself and your family from the fire. Not only does he try and promote the idea of that but not only does he practice that himself with himself and his family, but even when people come to visit, he feels a responsibility to convince them to come back home.
Yeah, exactly. So then what I used to do is I was 19 then. I had just started uni.
Right.
I'd go pick them up from the airport. Before they'd book their hotels, I'd check their hotels, make sure they book a proper hotel. There's no cockroaches, nothing. Pictures could be deceiving, as you know. So I'd check their hotels and I'd give them the go-ahead. Right, your hotel's nice. Book it. Pick them up from the airport. Take them to the hotel. They rest up. When they wake up, pick them up. Just show them around. Coffee shops, restaurants, malls, shopping. Take the women out. Everything. I just made sure they had the best time. And I just made sure they had no negative encounters in Pakistan. So then what happened was, okay, you've helped this guy, and then his mate's coming, and he's messaged you, can you look after my mate, please? And he just kept on building and building and building. And then I thought, well, I'm young. I need to start a business. I'm going to start this business.
Showing people around all the time for free.
Yeah.
Time is money, brother.
Exactly, brother. This petrol is not for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'm going to, start a business. And then what I used to do, I used to charge them £20 a day. Imagine £20 and I'm with you for the full day and I come in my dad's car, which is a nice car. Yeah. And I'll just show you around.
Where do I sign up? This sounds like an incredible deal.
Yeah, it is an incredible deal. And then what used to happen, because we're very hospitable, I used to just end up buying them dinner and just spending all my money. Anyways, but it just became into this business. And it's called Islamabad Expat Homes, where it was just for foreigners. They'd come and it's the whole package. It's like you have a trustworthy friend in Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. You come, anything you need, I'm going to sort. You want to buy a property, I buy you a property. You want to rent a house, I rent you the house. Sightseeing, I arrange everything. So then what happened? So it's basically, I'm trying to help them make Hijra. Then what happened? I used to get messages from foreigners asking if we have Wi-Fi and if we have roads and, silly questions like that. I was like, what? I was like, Islamabad's a nice city. We have everything. But they have no idea, because whenever they do come, they've been once or twice to Pakistan, probably for a funeral. You landed in the capital and you drove straight to the mountains, to your village for the funeral. And then you drove straight back to the airport and you've gone back to Bradford. So they have no idea.
By the way, are you live in Islamabad?
I live in Islamabad, yes.
Okay.
So they've not seen our cities. So that was one of the main reasons I thought, you know what, I'm going to start making videos and showing not only my city, Islamabad, I want to show every single nice Muslim country, because I don't want you to just move to Pakistan. I just want you to leave the West and move to a Muslim country, whichever that may be. You could go to Saudi, you could go to Kuwait, you could go to Doha, you could go to Riyadh, Dubai, Islamabad. But I live in Islamabad, so I could help you with Islamabad. Even in Dubai, I can, connect you with people. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's mainly I want to give exposure. People have no idea in the West how nice Riyadh is, for example. They have no idea how nice Dubai is or how nice Doha is. Even Turkey. You can move to Turkey if you want. If you really like Turkey and the all-inclusive resorts, you can move to Turkey. So that was the main purpose for me starting to make these videos. And yeah, we're a month in, and because I feel like they've not seen this side, or people have been hoping for somebody to represent their country, I've gained a lot of support. I got a lot of long messages about, oh, thank you so much for repping our country. Been trying to tell people this and that. I was like, oh, that's very kind. But yeah, so far it's going well. It's a bit overwhelming. It could be a bit scary because, being in the public eyes, it could be a bit dodgy. But alhamdulillah, we're trying to make a positive effect in this little world.
Well, not only are you making a positive effect, but like you said, like it's unbelievable that it's only been a month, because you've got videos that have hit 400,000 views, Allahumma barik, and I think was that the first one that you ever put out?
For the first one, yeah, the first one was, I think, 300,000-400,000, yes, but we've had quite a few that have done really well.
No, you have, yes. It's honestly incredible, and I think, like I said, I think there's a lot of ingredients that make this recipe so perfect. But ultimately, people, like to consume content that they relate to, that they see as genuine, and you have a very captivating and genuine personality through a screen. So I think you're downplaying it a little bit, saying that I don't know what I'm doing, or whatever. But actually, I think if you don't know what you're doing, then just keep not knowing, because it's amazing, and it's coming out so well. And bro, even like I am Jamshed from Bradford, right? In many ways,
yeah.
And so for me, it makes me so much more want to come back to Pakistan, for more trips. And actually, I watched one of your Q&A videos that really related to me. He said something like, "How does?" And by the way, may Allah bless this person who asked, because it's such a they put themselves in a very vulnerable position to ask the question, because it's kind of like, it's kind of how we all are and how we all thinking. But this person actually said it, which was, they said, if I'm somebody who hasn't been back to Pakistan, but I am Pakistani, I'm born and raised in the West, and I don't know anything about Pakistan, how do I slowly get myself used to it, with the idea of potentially moving there? And your answer was great, which was, look, here's the system: visit once a year, and then make it more regular. And the first time you go, make it as bougie as you possibly can. Go in the best hotel, stay in the best area. And I think that advice is incredible, because, by the way, that's also from the Islamic element. If you think about how Allah, brought down the rules of Islam, or even how da'wah should be done, things are done in stages, right? Because that's how we're created as humans. You don't just throw someone into Jilm and say, figure it out. You do have to do things in stages, especially according to their situation. I only say Jilm because that's where I visited when
we're from Jilm, by the way.
We're from Jilm as well, like my dad.
Oh, we're related, we're cousins.
Probably are, yeah. I guess those answers and stuff, bro, not only is your content entertaining, but it's incredibly educational as well. And I know you said that you want to create content around different countries and stuff as well, like Saudi and things. And, of course you should do that. But yeah, even your content on Pakistan alone, if that's all you did, I think is just really amazing, bro. Because I'm just here to give you your flowers. This podcast is just me laying down flowers for you.
This is great for my ego. Keep it going.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, bro. And you said it's only been a month, but I honestly believe your content is just going to completely take off, bro. Let's
see.
But let's kind of move away from the vanity metrics and talk a bit about the real why and stuff, because I think what was also impressive about the content is that there's one thing to say, hey, look, you guys are Pakistanis, you're born and raised in the West, it was potentially a great opportunity at the time that you moved there, but now it's starting to look a little bit, times are getting hard, come back to Pakistan. That's great in and of itself. But actually, what was lovely to see about your content is you went a step further, and it seems like you're actually really passionate about Hijra. You're passionate about the Deen. You're passionate about Islam. So, it would be good to kind of get an understanding of those deeper reasons as to why it is that you feel like you should be creating this content.
Right. So it's because my whole life, I witnessed it. That if you leave something for the sake of Allah, Allah will reward you with something greater. I saw it with my own eyes. My dad left everything in England. He moved to Pakistan in 2004. He moved to Rawalpindi. We live in Islamabad now. Islamabad's fancy. Rawalpindi is not as fancy. And 20 years ago, we barely had electricity. So he moved. So we moved in 2004. And we were kids. I was 4 years old. so for me, it wasn't difficult. For me, it's all fun and games. Go out, play football, cricket, whatever. Go see. For them, for my dad, and especially my mom. Nowadays, I say that you can't just move like that, because you might be fine, but your wife and kids, they're gonna struggle, man. Not all of them have it in them to, to get this done. But my mom, mashallah, she stood besides my dad, and again, as a team, they accomplished this. So Rawalpindi, we didn't have electricity used to go out for 10 hours. I was 20 years ago. And, his relatives or my relatives, they told him that, this was a bit of a midlife crisis, and, you'll probably be back in England in about 6 months. Like, how are you going to provide for yourself? What are you going to do? But I saw it. And then when we moved, he put us, the funniest thing, he put us in a Saudi diplomatic school. That's a school where everything is in Arabic. Maths, chemistry, every single thing was in Arabic. My teachers were Saudis. It's basically where, the diplomats, their kids go to this school.
Sure. Because
we were British, we were able to go to that school as well. So our homework was in Arabic. Everything was in Arabic. We'd come home and dad has no idea what's going on, but he's like, yeah, don't worry, we'll sort it. So, there was a lot of confusion. But alhamdulillah, it all worked out well. The first 2 years, me and my two brothers, we were fluent in Arabic. So we studied in this Saudi school, and then my dad did his work, and alhamdulillah, things worked out for him, and he's very comfortable. We're comfortable, and the people that were criticizing him in the West are still living those same lives. I see that they've not leveled up. It's that same. And then I think to myself, when you go to England and you sit with whoever, their lives are very difficult. And I think to myself, if you wrote a book about your life, how interesting would your book be? It's a genuine question. You go to work, you come back, you tuition, come back, go to sleep, go to work, come back. Once a year, you go to Turkey, come back to work. And, that's not how one should live life. Life is more about just a job and making ends meet. There's more to that. That's how I process things anyways. So it's the same for me. I want to work. Obviously, I want to make money, but I don't want to just make money. I want to also make a difference. I want to help my community. I lived in Pakistan. I think people could... I lived in Pakistan. I enjoyed it. It did well for me. I think it could do well for others as well. Not everybody in the West can afford to move to Dubai or to Riyadh. You understand? So, but they do have the option of coming back to their motherland, because Pakistan is very cheap, to be quite frank. Dubai is not as cheap. Riyadh is not as cheap. And we should also be very thankful. We should say alhamdulillah for at least having a backup Muslim motherland. Not everybody has that. I used to get calls from Philadelphia. Americans basically calling, listen, we want to move out of America. Dubai is too expensive. If we came to Pakistan, would we be safe? Because they were asking that because they're black. I thought, listen, there's loads of black people there. Don't worry, you'll be fine. But then I thought, you know what? He doesn't have the option of moving back to a Muslim motherland. We do. It's a big ni'mah. We should thank Allah for this. And it's not a war zone like many are, unfortunately. So I thought, we should give this more exposure and work towards this. And inshallah, Allah will open up ways for me, and hopefully I can help people in the process.
May Allah give you, success in this life and the next. I think is incredible. The fact that your intentions are rooted in Islam and doing it for the sake of Allah is, again, like equally incredible. And the sacrifice that your dad made, you think back to when a lot of people ask the pious predecessors, why are you so knowledgeable, or a lot of the scholars will ask those questions, right? Like why they turned out the way they turned out, and they would answer and say it was because of the righteousness. It was because. Should I just stop the podcast?
Yeah, let's end it here.
Yeah. It was because of the righteousness of my father.
Yeah.
Some would say it's because of the righteousness of my parents. And obviously we know like
Yeah.
Imam Bukhari, like his mother would make dua for him and he was blind growing up, so on and so forth. So I honestly believe that the success that you get, a big part of that will be because of the sacrifice that your dad made for the sake of Allah, and to have
No
that
doubt.
foresight is incredible. But then also for you to have this intention that is for the sake of Allah to like help other Muslims is incredible too. And I resonate a lot with what you said about, you know, it might be easy for you, but it might be a bit more difficult for the women in your life, like your wife. And I remember when I moved out here to the UAE, people would come and visit and they say, why did you move here? Why did you move to Dubai and not like Sharjah? Because I think a lot of people who were doing Hijra around the time, they're moving to Sharjah or even Ajman and stuff like this, which, you know, for context, those listening who don't know the UAE very well, I suppose the perception is at least that Sharjah is a little bit more, you know, Islamic and quieter from like the west side, and that in Dubai there's a lot more Brits and stuff like that. First of all, my answer was, first of all, there's so many beautiful places in Dubai that you can live, and I think like that are non-touristy. First of all, and secondly, even where I moved to, I was a 5-minute walk from 2 masajid. Like, but people would ask like, why is it that you moved to this like kind of this British compound? And I always told them that the main reason is because I'm doing this big move, right, from non-Muslim country to a Muslim country, and I've decided we're going to do this. But I also have to be wise enough to understand that I'm bringing along a woman, my wife, who for, you know, 25 years of her life, you know, from zero has been born and raised in the UK. And so for her, it's also going to be a big shift, right? And so if I can make that easier in any way by being around Brits and stuff like that, as bad as it might sound, it's incredibly comforting. And so, you know, we first moved here and you'd go to the shop and you'd hear someone in like a Cockney accent be like, oh, excuse me, mate, how much is it? And it's very comforting because like, you don't know where you're going, you don't know where you are, you're a bit lost, and you hear something that feels like it's, you know, from what you've known for the last 25 years, last 27 years. And so for me, it was important that I be able to like do that in stages, like we kind of said, right, about doing things in stages. And so I was able to move to somewhere as Muslim country, you know, 5 minutes from a masjid, but then also have that like thing. And bro, it worked out incredibly because my next door neighbors were a Muslim couple from East London, teachers. And then the guys opposite us, a Muslim couple and their kids same age as ours from Croydon. A few doors down, Muslim couple from Birmingham. And there's this huge community here of like, you know, predominantly British Muslims and French Muslims, because the French Muslims have even more urgency to make hijrah, right? Like with the hijab and stuff like that. And by the way, the stories I've heard, like, you know, you go to the masjid next to my house and there's a lot of French brothers, you speak to them and they're like, if I got caught praying at work, I'd be fired. Like
so bad
in the UK. Like in the UK, if you're praying, they have to accommodate for it. Like I remember when I was working in London, and before I signed my contract, I said to my manager, "Look, this is one thing. Before I sign this, I need to take like 5 minutes out to pray when the prayer times come in." He said, "That's cool. We'll just treat it like a water break. Like other employees get a water break.
Yeah,
take 5 minutes. So we'll just treat it like that if that's all it takes." He was saying in France, you can't do that. So they have an even more urgency. But anyway, there's this beautiful community here. So like, yeah, just kind of wanting to raise that to that point, that like that's very wise advice to say, look, it might be easy for you. And often as men, we could just like say, oh, we're just going to like firm it and deal with it. But actually you have to think about your whole family. If you're bringing kids that are older, you don't just want to like put them in it, right?
Yeah, it's something that I've dealt with quite a lot. I always do get asked, how do we do it? And it's always what we tend to do is, yes, summer vacations, you're coming to Islamabad, you come, we show you around, and then, you know, take to nice restaurants, whatever, have fun. And then we introduce you to families from the UK who made hijrah and are happy. So you sit with them, you ask them all the questions, raise all your concerns, basically seek comfort that if they could do it, you know, we could do it. And then just gradually just start to make that move. You start to make that move. And inshallah, again, you leave something for the sake of Allah. Allah will definitely reward you with something greater. And I've seen it over and over and over again. We've helped so many families come to Pakistan, and alhamdulillah, they're all very, very happy.
All right. So one of the things I love about your content is that it's like kind of breaking myths. So I thought what would be really cool is like, it'd be good to hear from you. What are like some of the common myths about Pakistan, moving to Pakistan, living in Pakistan as someone from the West? And what are your responses to those myths? And by the way, if you want to hear some myths, I've got some.
No, you got to give me some myths because everything's a myth. I'm Pakistan lawyer.
What are the most? I kind of want to hear like what are the most popular common things that people would ask and say. Like you mentioned the stuff about like Wi-Fi and. By the way, you're not doing that one any justice because for those of you, you guys won't be able to see this because like Isa's got a professional camera filming him. But what I'm looking at is a broken laptop webcam with like, you know, the static lines that you see when you got an old
I
TV.
could see the lines. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're not doing justice to that myth there. But
it's fine. We're not going to use this footage. We'll use a camera.
Yeah. What are those common things that you hear and your response to those things?
There's loads. There's, you know, the terrorism concerns. Oh, we're gonna get blown up. We're gonna get robbed, and there's so many. That's the thing. That any negative thing that comes to your mind, it's attached to Pakistan. So keep that in mind. Alhamdulillah, Islamabad. I'm speaking about Islamabad again. Islamabad's safe. You can walk around. Nobody's gonna stab you. London people. People can't fight here anyways. They slap, so it's all good. You probably win the fight, and it's fine. That's the thing. It's normal. Just relax. Everything's gonna be okay. But you gotta give me some myths because there's so not many coming.
So, like, I think I can imagine things like safety being a big thing, and especially like living in Dubai and moving to Dubai, safety is huge. Bro, like the fact that you're comfortable letting your wife out at 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, to go to the shops or whatever, that stuff's really incredible.
You won't find
how that compares.
Gulf safety anywhere in the world. That's the beauty. That's the standard that all countries should work towards. And alhamdulillah, they're Muslim countries, and we take pride in that. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. So with Pakistan, obviously, it's not like the Gulf, but if I'm comparing Islamabad to London, Islamabad is a lot safer.
Okay.
You could walk out. I would, as a Pakistani, I went to London. Okay, let me give you my experience in London. I went for 2 days. Actually, last time I went, I was there. I was supposed to be there for 2 days. I did my thing the first day. Second day, I just went and sat at the train station because I didn't like London. I just wanted to go back to Manchester. Where Here's the breakdown. I'll tell you. So we went to London and everything was so expensive. I come from Pakistan. My haircut costs me £1. Anyways, I'm in London. I'm walking around and it was Pride Month. It was their parade. And I was like, oh, this is not a good time, you know. And I remember I was having breakfast in Harrods, the fancy central London place. I was having my eggs. And then I just looked to my left, and there was this Gora sat in his leather shorts with a choke on. And
oh my goodness,
that's it. That did it for me. I was like, "Oh, let's go back
to the train
station." No, then we had some food and went to sleep. Woke up and I was looking for coffee and I couldn't find good coffee anywhere. That's a big problem in England. And they all close at 5 p.m., which is very strange. And
that is a
big problem. Anyways, there's no coffee and everything was so expensive and it was rainbow flags. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back to Manchester where the streets smell like chicken curry. So I just went back. I went back to Manchester and that's it. I did not like London at all. But although it's very beautiful, I will say when you go to London, you feel like you're in London. The architecture, I quite enjoy. But other than that, it's not the best.
So with the coffee shop thing, what's funny about that is that I've obviously spent 28 years of my life in London and never even that I guess like was a pain point for me. I moved to Dubai. I've been here for 3 years, and as you know, like even any day of the week, everything's open to 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, at least.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first time I went back to London after being in Dubai, I think the first time I went back to London, it was about 9 months after I moved to Dubai.
All right.
I go back and there was a point where I fancied I was going to my sister's house, and on the way I was like, okay, it was like 5-6 o'clock. Yeah. And I thought to myself, I fancy a coffee. And on the way, there's a coffee shop near her house. So I'll just like grab a coffee from there. And I go there. I think it was 6 o'clock. It was like 6:01, and the door's not opening. And I was really confused. Yeah. And then there was like a woman in there, she was cleaning, and she was like, no, we're closed. And then I looked at the sign on the door and it said like, 9 till 6 or whatever. And I was just thinking, subhanAllah, like some coffee shops in Dubai don't open until 6 p.m, let alone like closing.
That's where it kicks off.
You become so used to it so quickly to the point where I started to think to myself, and then it happened again when I went to the shopping center and all the shops closed at 5 or 6 on a weekday. And I thought to myself, if somebody is like working a corporate job and they finish work at 5 and they need to grab something from the shopping center, how do they do it?
Because, really weird.
But also, how did I do it? Because it was never an issue for me for 27, 28 years. But now I'm become so accustomed to the fact that everything, it's 9:21 p.m. here on a Thursday night, which to be fair, everything even in the UK is open. But even like the other day, I popped to the supermarket really at night because I needed to grab something. Any time of the day or night, you can order whatever you want and it's with you in 10 minutes. We speak about this in a previous podcast. It's like, it's a little bit too convenient. But yeah, the coffee shops closing at 5 p.m. is a bit of a pain point now.
By the way, Dubai proper spoils you.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
But anywhere you go in the world, if you live in Dubai, you won't be comfortable because Dubai is Dubai. Everything's just so accessible. So yeah, that was one of my main issues because we're used to, Qahwa Mukhtassa. That's what we need. We need specialty coffee, and we have that quite a lot in Islamabad. Actually, you'd be surprised. And obviously Dubai is the same, Riyadh's the same. But when I was in Manchester, I was just searching good coffee. I said, "Oh, do you want to go Starbucks, Costa?" I said, "No, I don't want Costa. I want proper coffee." And I was searching, and then you have to go to Black Sheep in town, and you go there, and all the Saudis are there, and the Kuwaitis and the Emiratis are all sat there having coffee. So yeah, I was telling my cousins, open a coffee shop, proper coffee shop, you do well.
Yeah,
great business idea.
To be fair, there is some great coffee shops in London, in the UK. To be fair, in London,
but it's not like in the Gulf countries though. It's every street there's coffee shops. Like I want coffee. All right, leave the house, grab your coffee, and off you go. There you got to basically travel.
Right, I said to ChatGPT, what are some common myths that Pakistani people born and raised in the West have about Pakistan?
ChatGPT.
I literally just.
All right, let's go. Go on.
Right, so there's the first one we already discussed. Pakistan is completely unsafe. You already answered that one. Everyone is either super religious or ultra traditional. I think that the ultra traditional one is interesting actually because I suppose culture is, well, first of all, religion and culture are both things that are actually beautiful. But I can imagine that being something that people would have some concern about.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. So culture is beautiful as long as it doesn't contradict your religion, right? So now I live in Islamabad. Islamabad's the capital. It's modern, and the thing with Islamabad is, let's say you only speak English, you can get by. It's not like Dubai, but you can get by. And most of the families here, their relatives are abroad or they've moved back from abroad. So culturally, I know what ChatGPT is trying to say, that they're proper backwards, but Islamabad's not like that. Islamabad's chill. You could relax.
By the way, talking about language, so we were raised speaking Punjabi because my dad's he's not actually from Jhelum. He's from a village near Jhelum called Sarai Alamgir.
Okay, that's near us.
Okay, and my mum's from Sialkot, and so both spoke Punjabi. So, up until 5 years old, I didn't even know English. We were only raised in Punjabi in the house. We had to speak Punjabi, right? But we learn Urdu by default because I feel like if you know Punjabi, you can speak Urdu, but it's not the reverse way. If you know Urdu, you can still not speak a word of Punjabi, right?
Yeah.
And so we learn Urdu because like our cousins would speak it, or my nan would speak it with, my cousins and stuff like that, or my aunties would speak it. But generally we were raised Punjabi. Now, out here in Dubai, there's 2 languages that you need to know to get by in Dubai. And they are English and Urdu, right? If you know English, Urdu, you're fine in Dubai. And so when I speak to the cab drivers and stuff, I speak to them in Urdu. Every now and again, there'll be someone like proper Punjabi, and it's great because I get to speak Punjabi. In Islamabad, what's it like? Like, do you need to speak to people ideally in Urdu, or like, can you just chat to anyone in Punjabi, or is it weird? Because I'm
no, not anybody
Punjabi.
Yeah. Here's the thing: we've got a lot of Pathans.
Okay.
In Islamabad, so you can't speak to them in Punjabi. Right. They speak Pashto, but they do speak Urdu.
Of course.
Now, the thing is, with us, because we know who's a Pathan and who's a Punjabi. If we see a Punjabi, I'm not speaking to you in Urdu. I will start with Punjabi.
Right.
Because if I want to get something done, you could tell. I could tell. Like we could tell if we see a Brit.
No, Pathan and Punjabi fine, but Punjabi and Urdu, like someone's like, just in Sawar Kameez, and how could you tell the difference what language you're going to speak?
You could probably tell. The buttons will be open, chest hairs out. Tell straight away. It's like you start with Punjabi.
You're way more
and obviously,
Punjabi, right?
Yeah. And Punjabis love it when they're spoken to in Punjabi.
Right.
Their hearts melt. They become really nice to you. It's the same with the Pathans. If you speak to them in Pashto, that's it. He's your best mate. You're going to his house, you're going to have dinner, and then you go back home. So we know some phrases in Pashto as well. Just opening phrases and how to say, how are you, what's your name, etc. So mainly, yes, Urdu and English. If you know Urdu and English, you'll be fine. If you know Punjabi and English, you'll also be fine. Because as you said, Punjabi can be converted to Urdu. It's very funny when you when you try to speak in Urdu. Yeah. It's proper funny, but it'll work though. They'll understand.
Yeah. So when I as a Punjabi, when I speak Urdu, like all of the people that I speak to, cab drivers, instantly they know, but they have they smile, they laugh, they kind of feel sorry for me, and you could still have a complete conversation, but they know you're not. They know, 100%. They know you're not like Urdu. But I get laughed at by some aunties and stuff for my Urdu.
By the way, it's the same for me when I speak in Urdu. Although I was basically born and raised here, they could tell that there's something wrong. Yeah.
Let's go in some more.
It's just not bang on. So
yeah, bro. Like you have to. Yeah, I hear that, man.
Yeah.
Okay, 3, you already discussed this. Internet and technology are non-existent. Do you want to give more color to that?
All right, internet. Now, here's the thing. Internet is a big problem in the mountains.
Okay.
If you're in the cities, if you're in Islamabad, if you're in Lahore, if you're in Karachi, you could get very, very good internet. Just please spend some pounds, you cheapskates. But they don't spend that.
You like proper high speeds?
Yeah, you could get... What's the highest speed Hamad internet we've got?
100.
Oh yeah, usually it's 100 MBs. I think that's what we've got. So that's good enough. You could do what you need to do. That's also one of the other things. When I tell everybody, because I was getting a lot of comments, but the village life is so nice and this and that. I was like, your kids are in the village. They don't have internet. They're gonna play with the sheep. The first day. Then they can't stay there. You need internet. It's technology does the mana, as they say. So. You have to be in a city. Load shedding, not in Islamabad and Lahore and Karachi. The other cities, it can be bad. But now we've got solar systems. So again, if you've got your solar systems, you've got no electricity problems. So that's convenient. So Islamabad's good. We've got no load shedding problems here.
Some of the other ones, like obvious ones, there's no need to go to, like Pakistan is just villages. You've already discussed that. There's 2 or 3 here. So this one's good one. Everyone in Pakistan is poor. While poverty exists, Pakistan has a significant upper middle class with high-end cars, luxury homes.
There is a lot of poverty, no doubt.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of poverty, and there's also a lot of wealth here. There's crazy money here. But there's definitely poverty in Pakistan. So, try and help out when you can.
Education is subpar and everyone wants to leave.
Education, I'd like to discuss education.
Okay.
I was thinking, education, I just made a video about education. I think it got me shadow banned because I said some not nice words.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the thing with education is your school could only educate you to a certain level. It's your parents that mainly educate you. Okay, so I was educated in Pakistan, but mostly it was my parents. It was my mom and dad that educated me on how to speak, how to negotiate, how to deal with people, not to enter before your elders, all these little things. It's not your school. Your school, you give your kids entirely to this, to the schools. They won't really teach your kids as much. You have to give your kids time. And even if they go to a school in Pakistan, they'll be just fine. You just give them time. And if you're a Bande da Putter, they'll be a Bande da Putter. If you're not, they'll most probably not be. So that's the thing. I had good parents, alhamdulillah. The best.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. They're going to watch this, so I have to say this.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's like the majority of the myths. They have some obvious ones. But I did want to ask you something which was subhanallah, I've forgotten what it was now. Oh, it's annoying. Okay, moving on then. If somebody wants to come to Pakistan and be toured by you, how do they do that? Is that something that you still offer?
So I don't have an official corporate system. It's just you DM me, and if I like you, I'll show you around. If I not, you could basically just get ripped off.
Get the message
no, so it's I have been getting a lot of messages, recommendations, or we're moving. By the way, there's a lot of people. You'd be surprised how many families are moving. There's loads. So a lot of them have been messaging me and advice, whatever. Obviously, I'm always there. That's all free. And but yeah, then they just need to get in touch with me. Just DM me, whatever. If you need help, I'll help you out wherever I can. And if I can't, I'll also basically let you know. Okay.
I remembered my question. And this was something I was really excited to speak to you about. Basically, like the difference between in terms of spend, right? But I wanted to get a bit granular on it. So I've just Googled the median household, median annual earnings in London.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a few different numbers I have here. Okay, average salary in London was reported per household is reported to be 66,000 in 2024. Right. So
yeah.
I don't know if that's gross or net.
Okay. I've actually got a list. I've got a list of all expenses for a couple and a child. I'll read it out to you. So
I kind of wanted to work backwards from like if somebody has X amount of money per month in the UK, what kind of lifestyle does that get them in Pakistan? Rather than just like general costs, but like what does that unlock for them, right? Because we know what they would be living like. So
yeah.
Let's assume there's another one here that says household disposable income across the UK is £34,500. I guess. Oh, let me just ask.
I've just sent you a picture. You just have a look at that as well.
Okay, let me have a look at the picture that you sent. Do you know what, bro? Take my number because how you're messaging me now is better that you just WhatsApp it. So,
all right, go on. What's your number? So it's plus.
Yeah, I'm not saying it out loud on the podcast. I'll send it to you.
Oh, kind of like okay.
I mean, I could, yeah, but this is okay. Well, that's actually really interesting. So what you've sent me. So I'm actually going to pull this up on screen, so people can see it. Let me do that now while I look at what I was looking at, so people can see that on the screen as well. That's interesting. We'll go through that in a second.
Yeah, that should help. That should help a lot of people.
Let me.
So look, his rent is £429, and so this is lavish lifestyle.
Okay, and it'll cost you. I'm gonna hide this for now.
Okay.
And then we'll look at that in a second, and then we'll break it down. So first, let's just get this this thing done. So, all right, average weekly earnings in London. Why is it giving it weekly? Average gross weekly earnings. Gross. Right, I don't want gross. I want net. Where am I at? Oh gosh. Thought it would not be so hard to get this this information with the interwebs.
So
okay, here you go. £3,500 per month. Okay, that's
you could have 20 cooks and 50 bodyguards full time.
Yeah. So all right. So now that we know £3,500 is the median net annual household income.
No, monthly, not annual.
Monthly. No. That's right. The annual is £42,100.
Yeah.
Which equates to £3,508. So £3,500 monthly in London. Now let's bring up your document here, and why don't you talk us through this a little bit?
Right. So this is for a couple and a kid. So they've got rent, which is £429. That's like in a brand new, really nice villa. And they've got utilities, £114, fuel, groceries. The cleaner is included, Choki, which is your security guard. Your gym membership's included in like the top gyms. You got your Wi-Fi, best Wi-Fi.
Does everybody have to have a security guard?
I mean, we don't, but
fine.
You know, it'll cost you £100 a month. Yeah. So this is if you want to live a very comfortable lifestyle. So you got your cleaner, you got your chokidar, your security, gym membership in the best gym, Wi-Fi, the best Wi-Fi, which is £43 a month. Health, hospitals you don't really need to go to. We have really good hospitals, by the way, and it's very cheap. And the doctors here are very, very competent, by the way. Most of them in England go from here, so you're all good there. So a consultation will cost you whatever, £7-8. And then you got food for going out once a week. Again, that's in the top restaurants. That's £114. If you homeschool, £100 a month. If you send them to a normal Pakistani school, it'll be a lot cheaper. And then you got horse riding. You know, if you want to take your kids to horse riding, that's £40 a month. Then you got swimming. That's £5. £5 a month. Then you got BJJ. So it's everything, anything and everything.
Why is horse
if you wanted to do
weirdly pricey?
Horse riding because they know anybody that wants to bloody horse ride is proper bougie, so rip them off. Yeah. So we usually go with donkeys, a lot cheaper.
Wow. So total is £1,310.
Okay. So yeah, the total is £1,300. That's bougie, and obviously it could come down to 500 if you wanted to.
So what's interesting about that is, 3 years ago when I was living in the UK, or 4 years ago, we had in London a 2-bedroom flat, and it was definitely not half a villa. It was very small, and we were paying £1,200 a month rent. So that is for basically, you know, take out the horse riding and the BJJ. That's basically the exact same amount of money as you get rent, utilities, fuel, groceries, cleaner, security, gym membership, Wi-Fi, medical, food, and school for that same price. We just paid rent. Exactly.
Now here's a question, Choice Hub. If you owned a house, let's say you're in your 40s or you're in your 50s, you own a house, you rent that house out, you get 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, whatever. I don't know what the rents are in London. I'm sure they're a lot higher for a house. And you move to Pakistan, you move to Islamabad, and you've got that rent incoming, and you're spending in rupees. You could live a much more comfortable life in Islamabad than you would in London. So that's the point I'm trying to make to a lot of people. Put your house on rent, come to Pakistan, get a way bigger house, get 2 cooks, get bodyguards, have a nice car, go to the best restaurants, go to the best spas.
Just don't ride any horses.
Don't ride any horses. And that rent will just pay for everything.
Wow.
So
that is incredible, man.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Just have income in pounds and spend in rupees, and you live like a badshah, as we say.
I'm going to give you do some just to end this podcast. I'm going to give you some confessions, which I don't know. You might hate me after this, but in my relationship with Pakistan, I've been to Pakistan really I've been to Pakistan once in my life.
Wait, proper coconut.
Yeah. I really am, man. Like, I've been. I think I was there when I was like maybe 2 or 3 years old once, but I don't remember it. No, sure. So, but realistically, I've been once. Right. This was about, I don't know, 6 years ago. You're gonna hate me. I just came to Islamabad. I was there for my cousin's wedding, and I was in and out. And I did do a day trip in Sarai and Gir to see my cousins.
Yeah.
My chachu, my Mataya, and that was it. But I did enjoy it, and I did come with a lot of preconceptions that I'm not going to enjoy it, and it was really cold with me because I was in December, and it
does get very
cold, bro. But we also did do it a bit bougie. We stayed in the Serena Hotel.
See, that's how you should do it. Good.
Yeah, we had
and you still never came back. Can't believe that. Shocking.
Do you know what? I genuinely want to come back, bro. So we stayed in Serena Hotel. We had hired a mini bus because we came with families wedding. So wherever we went, we had a mini bus waiting for us outside the hotel. Wherever we went, we'd be dropped off. There's a whole family. Went to Faisal Masjid. Now, one thing I did see is we went to Faisal Masjid, and I'm standing there outside the mosque. Where you've obviously been to Faisal Masjid, right? Patronizing. How patronizing can I get asking you if you've been to Faisal Masjid? So
I've actually been once, but yeah.
Is it? Okay, fine.
It's like when you ask, people living in Dubai, that how many times you've been to the Burj Khalifa. It's like, we don't really. Yeah, it's one of those.
Okay, so anyway, I went to Faisal Masjid, and you know how there's like a lot of greenery or forest like towards the back of it. So we stood by there, just having a nap, and bro, a monkey comes out right next to me, and it was a big one though. It was not
scary,
big monkey. Bro, born and raised in London, and unfortunately, I'm really ashamed to say I'm accustomed to never seeing monkeys and stuff. So I feel embarrassed even saying that because I should have spent more time in Pakistan. Anyway, monkey comes out, huge monkey, runs past me, and bro, that area is far, bro, from like the main entrance, right? It runs all the way to the main entrance, climbs up, and I just watch it climb to the top of the building, and then it just sits like the king of the world on top of
Godzilla
of the masjid, just looking at like Godzilla. And I just saw that, and I was like, oh my goodness me, I've never seen that in my entire life.
I know, it's funny. We don't go down that side because you see bare monkeys, and monkeys are unpredictable, and you don't want to mess with monkeys.
No, you
so you just because after Faisal Masjid, it's just the mountains, and it's a big old jungle, and you don't know what's in those jungles. So you just stay towards the city and avoid the monkeys at all costs.
My editor had to. I was speaking to him about this, and he said that one time he just went to the mountains or the jungles, and he was eating something, and a monkey came up to him, grabbed his food, and the monkey he had to fight. He had to actually fight the monkey, and he
fought for the sandwich. Oh, that's a alpha male there.
I don't know if he fought for the sandwich or there was the monkey was harassing him or something, so he had to fight the monkey.
Oh, and right. If they pull your hair, because that's what they do apparently, they grab your hair. Listen, if that happens to me, I'm sorry, but the monkey's dead. It's because they grab your hair and they don't let go, and that's the thing, isn't it? You see these gore grabbing these monkeys and taking pictures of monkeys. I'm like, couldn't be me. I ain't touching no monkey because they're they're unpredictable. But I am. Do you know what I'm working on after Ramadan in June, July? So up north in Pakistan towards China is very, very beautiful. And I'm trying to get
Hunza Valley and stuff.
Yeah, Hunza, Skardu, all these cities. I want to get overseas Pakistanis, like influencers, and we all go together. We go on a road trip and we make videos, and you'll have so much fun, and we give exposure to our northern areas because again, tourism is big. It does well for Pakistan.
Yeah, in those areas as well.
And it's genuinely nice. I was shocked. I was shocked when I went. And I couldn't believe that I've never been here before, because we went 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I was like, oh my God, this is in Pakistan as well. And then we went again and again. So it's really, really, really shockingly nice. SubhanAllah.
I want to come back, man. And it sounds like if I'm going to come back, like the vibe is to go with you. So I'm gonna be bugging you and telling you, making you host me at this point.
No, definitely, man. Definitely. If you come to Islamabad, inshallah, you just message me. I'll pick you up. I'll charge you double. You know, I'll show you around.
It's still not bad. That's not a bad shout, man.
No, but I would definitely. I would love to host you. I would show you around, and we'd have a good time. I'm sure we'd have a good time, and you'd have a good time.
But I would love that. I'm serious about it, man. I'd love to come down this year, inshallah. So,
inshallah.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. Honestly, I would honestly love that. So, you're probably going to end up in Dubai sooner than I'm going to end up in Pakistan. So maybe we can speak about it more over a coffee in Dubai. But
inshallah,
especially look, as a dad of 3 boys now, I want them to be connected to Pakistan more than I was. And by the way, me not being connected to Pakistan was not the fault of my parents either. You know, but I do want to go there more. And my dad actually sometimes, you know, he'll go to Pakistan and he'll pass through Dubai and like stop and spend some time with me. And I did say to him last time, I was like, Dad, like next time you do that, you know, let me jump in with you. And it's just been like, you know, we've had 3 kids in the space of like a 5-year span. So it's like, it's always like, my dad's going like, oh, you know what, like I'll go next time. I don't want to say.
You come to Islamabad, I'll show you around, and then we go Jalab, you go to your village, I'll go to my village, and then we'll go back to Islamabad. It'll be fun, man.
Right. Yeah, I look forward to it. Let's make it happen, inshallah.
Inshallah. Stay in touch, and thank you again for having me on. No. It's been an experience. And hopefully I've not said anything, you know, stupid that gets me in trouble. Alhamdulillah, we'll be all right. You could just cut them out.
It's been incredible, bro. Honestly, I thank you so much for jumping on. I was really looking forward to our chat, and I'm glad we got it in just before Ramadan comes in. May Allah protect you, barakah in your time, bless your family and your various ventures, and
Ameen.
May Allah give you a very successful Ramadan. And yeah, inshallah, after Ramadan's done, let's connect and maybe we do a part 2 in person.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair for having me.